Hey, and welcome to the Ed Sullivan Experience. We are back again, and I have my very special guest, Star Jones, on here again, and I love having her on here every week. It's been great. This is our last segment for this UFO paranormal alien segment that we're doing. We are going to come back to this, but I've had some other requests to do some other shows, so we're going to be doing that next week's show. I think we're doing a hot rod classic car and muscle car show, so that should be pretty good. We have some good guests coming on for that, and then we also have a Women of Success show that I'm also doing, and I may do a live cooking show as well. So a lot of different things here. So we're doing all kinds of things, and then I still have the Bigfoot Festival I got to go to. So I can't wait for that because I'm definitely going to that. And then I definitely want to touch back on this again and do some more on this because this is my passion. I'd love to find out about this, and having guests like Star on here is fantastic. So how are you doing? I'm sorry I keep yep, but
No, 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 I'm fine. How are
how's
you?
it going? Good, good. I just want to check before we start, make sure everything is live, and make sure that everybody can hear me. I hope they are. Well, we look live on Facebook, I think. Nope, going live now. And let me check YouTube. We are live on YouTube. So, all right. So we're live everywhere tonight. So we're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. And so, what are we talking about tonight, Miss Jones?
Well, um, I want to talk about something that has recently happened,
Okay.
um, governmental wise, as far as UFOs go.
Okay.
And I want to read you something
Okay.
that came out. A lot of people kind of didn't get it, or they just overlooked it because I think Trump kind of slid it in there,
Right.
kind of sliding stuff in. But he basically, let me read you what he said.
Okay.
Oh, come on, please.
It's
No.
live, so it doesn't matter.
Ah, it's not going where it's supposed to
So while you're
go.
doing that, though, I'll go ahead and set this up a little bit because I know kind of what we're talking about. The government for years and years and years have had a little society that they have kept everything with UFOs, aliens, stuff like that that they're not sharing with the general public, with the US. They weren't even sharing it with presidents. We've had presidents that went into office and said, "Hey, I'm getting into office. I'm having them release everything." And so what happened was they'd go into office and people would say to them, "You're only here temporary. The most you're going to be here is 8 years, so you do not have the need to know," which is crazy. To me, that is crazy. That's the commander in chief of our government of the United States, and they don't have the right to know what's going on here. Yeah, I'm not buying that. So,
I went to it, and that's what it had. I'm getting a little help here.
oh, that's fine. Yep. So, like I was
Here.
telling them, this little secret government has been taking care of everything and they're not sharing anything. But you have some information tonight
I do.
that's
I
going to
found it.
shed some light on this. Okay. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, the DIA, which is the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, reportedly released a 154-page test results of a mysterious memory metal, which we've all heard about, the whole Roswell aluminum foil,
Yeah, the
um,
weather balloon.
right, called, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, nitinol. It's Nitinol, which remembers its original shape when folded. A stunning admission by the U.S. government that it proposes UFO debris was recently made in response to a Freedom of Information Act request filed over 3 years ago by this author. In his blog, adding in a reply letter, the U.S. Defense intelligence agency, the DIA, has ended decades of speculation by verifying that UFO material has indeed been recovered. Now, officially referred to as UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena.
That's the new name now.
Yeah. Rather than UFOs, some of this material was placed with a defense contractor for analysis and storage in specialized facilities. The guy who made this request was, again, I hope I pronounce his name correctly, Bragalia, Bragalia. He informed in his blog post. Incredibly, part of the information released discusses material with shape recovering properties, much like the memory metal debris found fallen at the Roswell UFO crash in 1947, he revealed. Based on the documentation received, it appears that the debris exhibits other extraordinary capabilities in addition to remembering their original form when bent or crushed. Some of these futuristic materials have the potential to make things invisible, compress electromagnetic energy, and even slow down the speed of light. According to Bragalia, the documents revealed the tests were carried out by Bigelow Aerospace, a Las Vegas company which performs private contract for the Department of Defense.
Who Bigelow Aerospace? Now, do you know who Bigelow Aerospace is? He is the guy that owns the Skinwalker Ranch. Okay.
Yes.
So if you don't know, if somebody's out there listening and they don't know, you need to start watching the series The Skinwalker Ranch. You'll know who this guy is.
Yeah. I've known about him for years. Always wanted to go out there. Although much of the report detailed are redacted, that can be gleaned is that these technologies represent a literal quantum leap beyond the properties of all existing material known to man. He mentioned throughout the he writes bad. He does. He really. Throughout the received FOIA documents mentioned is made of potential use of some of the materials in advanced aerospace platforms. Reference is made to desired material characteristics such as being extremely lightweight and tough, like the characteristics of the debris found at the Roswell crash. In December last year, now this right here, I knew about this because I watch weird and strange things. But in December last year, former President Donald Trump had signed a $2.3 trillion coronavirus relief bill, which he also set into motion. He did this, you know how, why shouldn't he do it? Everybody else does it. They want to
slide something in there.
Slide it right on in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what he did.
Okay.
In December last year, former President Donald Trump signed the $2.3 trillion coronavirus relief bill, which he also set into motion a 180-day countdown for the authorities to reveal all they knew about UFOs. The DIA and Secretary of Defense were given less than 6 months to provide information on unidentified aerial phenomena to the Congress and committees of armed services, according to former President Trump's move. Also on cue, and they're already starting to get it out there. They're not waiting the 6 months.
Right.
They're just, okay, all right, we got to do it. Well, we just might as well do it.
Before Biden pulls it back.
Yeah. Also on cue, America's spy agency, the CIA, allowed all UFO information to be downloaded ahead of the deadline last month. The CIA also allowed documents to be accessed by downloading from the Black Vault website. Now, if you want to see some stuff, I'm serious, because I went and I was like, oh my God. Go to, it's just the blackvault.com.
Okay.
The data involved every instance of unidentified aerial phenomena which has been mapped by the U.S. government. And I'm telling you, there is tons and tons and tons.
So here's my question. Do you think they're really going to release everything? There's got to be stuff that they're holding on to still. This is probably the stuff that they're like, we can let
Well, I
this
mean,
out.
he's got the space agency now, and they've
But
had this
Trump's no
stuff.
longer in office.
I,
So,
that's all good and well for now. We'll see.
yeah,
But that's just. Um, I know that they already are releasing a lot, and they do have the space agency. The Space Force is the name of it. It's what they're calling it.
right.
Well, I remember him saying we have the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy, blah blah blah, and Space Force.
Yep.
So, but I know for a fact that we've had stuff up there and out there since, I think I was talking to a friend of mine about it. I want to say 2015 is when I personally saw it.
Right.
And, well, if you go to the right places and read the right things, it's going to tell you we've had it since probably way before Roswell.
Well, there's got to be.
Accelerated so much after that.
I mean, if you look at the hieroglyphics from Egypt, you can see that they were putting things on there that they weren't human looking. It wasn't their gods they were trying to. They were putting things that looked like aliens, that looked like flying saucers.
Yeah. Have you saw the painting? It's a Madonna painting.
No.
In some Catholic church somewhere. I didn't think about this would come up, or I would have got the link and showed you. But it's basically, if you look right up in the top corner, it's a perfect UFO. Absolute perfect UFO in this painting that was painted probably in the, oh my God, I don't know, it's one of the frescoes,
Right.
from whenever.
Leonardo da Vinci era.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, and that's what I wanted to do tonight too. I wanted to show some photos that I've been posting, and get your opinion on these.
Cool.
So give me a second here. I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and I'll describe them for the people that are downloading these podcasts and listening in their car, because you can't really see this. So I'll just describe what we're looking at. And so the first one here is out of an airplane window. Can you see that?
Perfect. That's it.
And there's a little disc right outside the window that somebody took a picture of while they're flying inside the plane.
Mm-hmm.
This one here is radar picked this up from a Navy pilot's plane. They were tracking this. They released this a couple of years ago. I think they released these.
Like all kinds of stuff like that is on that webpage.
Yep.
Black Vault.
This one is another one. This is almost a triangle. Now, I saw the other day the government had a triangle spaceship that they created, that they've been flying around for years.
Yep.
Testing. But some of the really weird ones that I found have been what people have been finding on Google Earth.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw where you had those.
So this one here is in the snow under some rocks, is a round disc that looks like a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter which picture you look at,
you can see it clearly.
Yeah. If you go to Google Earth right now and click on the coordinates, you can see this. It's there right now. And then this one is off the coast of California. Not sure what
Covered
that
in
is.
snow?
Huh?
Is it covered in snow?
No, it's under the water.
Oh, it's under the water.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
This is
Well,
underwater. So to me, this looks like a little base. I mean, look at this. Perfectly with the little indentations there that look like they could be hangar bays.
yeah.
And this one I just found today. This one is in Antarctica as well.
Oh, we got stuff going. Admiral Byrd, since way back since Admiral Byrd and before that, we've had stuff going on there.
In Antarctica?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think Admiral Byrd was actually in the Arctic, but Arctic, Antarctica. Well, no, maybe he was in. I don't know. It's one of the others, but
So that one looked like an alien face for the people that are driving and listening. Okay, so those are some of the ones I wanted to share with you and get your opinions on. Some people
look real to me.
some people look at that and say, "Oh, that's fake." Okay.
The most compelling is the one out the airplane window because there's no glare. There's no, you can even see the dirt on the inside of the glass of
Correct.
the portal,
Yep.
the window.
Yep.
I mean, there's no denying.
Well, and the ones that I thought were really fascinating are the ones from Google Earth. You can't. That's a map of the Earth right now. So if you go there and look, and that thing is still there. So somebody needs to explain that to me because I want to know.
Well, the technology that they have is just, it's incredible. And, we was talking the other day in one of the shows, and I said something about, well, you can see them yourself.
Right.
Let me tell you how you can do that and how anybody can do
Yes.
that, okay? It's not exactly cheap, but it's not as expensive as it was back then, or I would have done it back then. It was like 2015, I think, and there was this guy, older gentleman. His name was Ed.
Hey.
His name was Ed Grimsley.
Okay.
And he died, I don't know, a few years ago. And he wrote a book called, the name of his book was Sky Fishing.
Was what?
And I don't even know,
Sky
Fishing. Ooh, yep, rod reel,
Oh.
Sky Fishing.
Sky. Okay.
And I don't know if you can even still find the book. I have a signed copy by him. I don't know if you can even still get it or not. I know I tried to Google him and could not find a thing about him. The only thing I could find was off of,
I'm gonna look on Amazon while you're telling this story.
okay, Coast to Coast. I know you're familiar with Coast to Coast.
Yep.
He was on Coast to Coast several times, and he had he would have sky fishing parties.
Sky.
And yeah, so at the time I lived in Irwin, and I was listening to Coast one night, and it was on there that he was going to Asheville, and I'm like, oh, well, how much does this cost? It was like $75 for two people. So me and a friend of mine decided we were going to go.
I got to put my eyes on. Sorry. Go ahead.
And so we were, really not knowing what to expect. Well, kind of, but, we heard him on Coast to Coast, and there was some that we knew about it, but, we didn't know exactly. So we get up there, and he had went to a radio, and now, anybody can look this up. It's real. It happened. It was there.
Right.
There was a radio station. Now, I don't know the call letters, but it was in Asheville. It was way up on the mountaintop. And we went up there, and there was a lot of people. There was probably, oh my gosh, 50 maybe.
Really?
Maybe 40 people there. And still we're not knowing what to expect. It's cold. It was like, I think it was in the fall, but it was chilly up there. And we showed up, and everybody else was there. Well, people came in after us too, but there was he had a big widescreen TV. Now, this is 2015. Not like you could just run right out and get a big screen TV like you can
Yeah.
today, especially you can
And I cannot find that. That's weird.
You probably won't. Where you'll find, I don't know about the book, but where you'll find information about him is on Post.
Okay.
George Norris.
George Norris, yep.
Interviewed him. Anyway, so we get up there, and he has this big widescreen TV, and just set up in the parking lot, has a van, and he's actually pulled it out of the van or whatever, and has a table set up with night vision goggles on this table.
Really?
And he proceeds to start talking to us and explaining how that you can use, and it's only generation 2. Only generation 2 is the only one that works with this. At the time, I think there was 2 and 3. I don't know if there was 4, so I don't know. But at the time, I remember he specifically said, you got to use 2.
Okay.
And he put one on and had it linked into the TV. So all the rest of us could see what was going on. And you could literally see, I know this, and it scared me at first because I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? You could literally see them making turns, L-shaped turns. And there was quite a few of them. And you could literally, it was right to the edge of the atmosphere. You could see.
With night vision goggles, generation 2.
Yes.
Any particular kind, or?
I don't know what kind he had. I really don't. I don't think it matters as long as it's the second generation.
Okay.
But they were literally firing at each other. You could see the beams come out, and explosions and stuff. And all of us was like, okay, who is that? Okay, is that aliens fighting aliens? Is that us fighting the bad guys?
Right.
What is it? So he had a table set up, and he had like 4, I think he had 4 pair, not counting the one that he kept on the TV. And he said, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to share. And we're going to use the honor system, and everybody's going to get like 5 or 10 minutes apiece, then you pass it to somebody else, because there was like 4 or 5 of them, and there was like 40 people.
Right.
I think I got a hold of them like 3 times. My friend got a hold of them 3 or 4 times. And it wasn't like, you knew where you were looking, okay? So you're not just looking at what he had on the screen when he was doing
right.
it. You were doing it yourself, and you knew. You were doing it yourself. You knew.
Right.
And I left there with a whole different perspective of wondering and just not knowing, hey, what exactly is going on? So I think, and I have heard anyways, that, we've had this Space Force going on for a long time. And, everybody said there's good aliens and there's bad aliens, all the different, gosh, what is there, 53? No, I'm probably wrong. I can't even remember. There's 50-something different species.
Right. There's got to be way more than that, though.
I think, I want to say it's somewhere between 50 and 70.
Right.
I don't know if
From what they probably documented.
Yeah, that they've got documented.
It's so funny because if you look at movies, where did people come up with these ideas? Somebody had, look at Men in Black. Men in Black is about a group of people protecting the earth from the aliens, that all different species that keep coming here. Okay.
So, Ed Grimsley, he was Air Force. He, was a Air Force veteran.
Right.
And when he was a teenager, okay, now he died recently, and in 2015, I'm betting the man was in his 70s then. So way back when he was a teenager, or just probably he probably went in the service when he was 18 or 19. I don't
Right.
know. Um, that's where he found out about it, and he hung on to it for years. His daughter, I think, was the one who finally kind of prodded him, like, "Dad, you really need to get this out." And
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, get you there. And back then they were God.
They were what?
Gosh, I said they were like gosh. Um, $4,000 or $5,000, I think.
Yeah, you can probably get them cheaper now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can get them cheaper now.
But I never even
Um,
thought of that, to look up there with infrared
you can see.
glasses, night
You
vision.
can see.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Definitely.
So,
That was.
so to play devil's advocate, people are going to say, "Well, that's not aliens. That's just space junk floating around up there." Because
Shoot at each
I know
other.
when I posted some of this other stuff, people were like, "Oh, that's the Millennium Falcon." I'm like, "Really? That's the Millennium Falcon? Are you people retarded?" Okay,
Yeah.
it's not the Millennium
Well,
Falcon.
I'm just going to say, this is what I would say to anybody. Okay? Go get you some and see for yourself.
Well,
Don't say it's a lie until you get up here and you're looking and you can't find anything.
and everybody,
because you're going.
everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's
That's
the
right.
premise of this show is you're entitled to do your opinion. We're not here to disprove anybody or to prove anything. I mean, if we had proof, that's great. You know,
Well, it's like
you're a
what I said
witness
when
for
I
your
started.
own stuff that you've seen. Who am I to tell
Right,
you that you did not see that? You know,
right.
that's just
It's like the very first show I was on, and I said, look, I fully 100% understand if somebody doesn't, believe it. Because, I mean, if I hadn't seen it, I don't think I'd believe it either. I mean, maybe I might say, oh, well, yeah, there's got to be more than just us in the universe. But,
yeah. But I've never seen it, and I believe because I am of that mindset of there is no way. It's like, and I've said this before, you have to be ignorant if you think that we are the only things in this entire solar system, galaxy, universe. You have to be ignorant if you think we're the only things here. There's no way. There has to be some other form of life somewhere else. And how do we know that we're just not some other form of life's school experiment, science experiment? You know, you ever seen sea
well,
monkeys? You put them in a little thing and you grow them. We could be somebody's sea monkey jar right here. We could be an ant farm. We don't know. Somebody knows something. The government knows
have you
something.
have you ever read the Book of Enoch?
I have not. I'm more of a movie guy. I don't like to read because it makes me fall asleep. So I usually watch. I usually wait for the movies.
Well, the Book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible
Okay.
when it was during the final print. And I think don't quote me on that, but I think that down as it went on through generation and generation and generation, somebody somewhere, and I'm sure it was some king who wanted his taxes paid and money earned, didn't think it was a good idea to put the Book of Enoch in there or anything that came out of it.
Well, that's the thing is with the Bible, and people don't realize that. And I hate getting on religion, but I've always said this: is the Bible was written by man, and then it's passed on from generation to generation. And just like you said, there's kings out there that went, yeah, no, we're not going to put this out there. If you go to go to the Vatican, if you could get into what they have stored and hidden from everybody.
Oh,
I was raised Catholic, and to me, I'm just like, if anybody knows about aliens, they probably do. So that's all I'm going to say about the religion. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Well, the Book of Enoch is so very interesting, and it does have it follows along the same lines of oh, I know you know the name of this man's name, and I know it too as well as I'm sitting here. Um, Enoch was the grandfather of Noah.
Okay.
Okay, and he wrote this book. But the Book of Enoch follows. Oh, who was the guy who died a few years ago? Who he had done UFO and alien research for years, and he was all up on the Anunnaki. Uh, what is his name?
Yeah, talking about the Scientologist guy,
No,
Hubbard.
no, he was a researcher. He believed Von Daniken.
Okay, yeah.
Von Dan- yeah. The Book of Enoch. Most of Van Daniken's stuff came out of the Book of
Okay.
Enoch. How that aliens needed gold and came here and found it in mass quantities, and they weren't going to dig it up. So they needed us to do it,
Right.
And his aspect is the creation. It's part of the creation story as far as he put it in his book. And even part of him, Noah's grandfather wrote the Book of Enoch. You read it and your ideas will change.
Okay.
You have to, if you really truly love this stuff, and if you've had experiences and you want to know, you've got to do your research.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Because you have to. You're not going to find out anything, or you're just going to have to listen to what somebody else says, and you don't know if what they're saying is the truth or not. So.
Well, and that's a lot of these shows that I've been watching now. It's like, man, you just didn't realize, you just didn't know, and that makes you start researching more. And with today's technology, with the internet and everything, man, you can just find what you want.
Let's throw that out there again for people to anybody that got Netflix to go and watch that documentary, Above Majestic.
Yeah, Above Majestic. Go watch Skinwalker Ranch, because I'm just starting to watch that now, and I'm into the second episode, and I'm already like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" So yeah,
it kind of goes along with the other.
Well, and that's how I knew the guy Bigelow. It's in Bigelow Aerospace. As soon as you said that, I was like, I just saw him the other day, and he sold that Skinwalker Ranch. So, but they never found anything.
Above Majestic goes all the way back to the pyramids.
Yeah, Above Majestic and the
ruler. Look at some of the rulers' skulls.
Yeah. There's another one called The Unacknowledged, I think it is, that I just got done watching too, and that one talks about all the government conspiracies and everything else.
I gotta write that down. What'd you say?
Unacknowledged. I think it's on Hulu, or it's on the same one that that Above Majestic was.
Oh, Netflix.
Yes.
Or Hulu. Hulu. Was it Hulu or Netflix?
It's on Hulu. It's on that same one, because that's how I found it, because it was like, well, if you like this, you'll really like this, and I was like, oh, and I did, and it was about. It talked about all the government conspiracies, everything you've been talking about, they've been talking about. And this whole documentary is about that. So it was really good. Really good.
Most of my life, this stuff has just followed me most of my life. And I really started getting into it with the internet.
Yeah.
Because up until then, they didn't have shows. You didn't, we got cable, and you might have had a show about Roswell.
Right.
And then then there actually, become a few more, because I do remember in the 90s watching some stuff. We had the dish.
The big, huge satellite dish.
Yeah. Yeah, the one you had to put.
It looked like
One you had to
looked
put.
like you could contact aliens with that thing. Yeah,
Yeah, you had to put the codes in. They change the codes
yeah.
on you. Uh, but there was some stuff on there. But when the internet came along, that's when it was like, whoa,
Well,
okay.
and been the good part and the bad part with the technology that we have now and the internet is you can find so much more, but it's so much easier for people to fake it too. That's the bad part,
Yeah.
and that's what puts the bad light on people like us that are trying to show the truth, find the truth, and talk about the truth. That's what shows the bad light when you get somebody that makes something fake but can do it so well that people believe it, and then they find out it's fake and they go, "Oh well, it's all fake." But it's not.
Yeah.
You can't dismiss everything that you see and everything that you hear. You have to look and judge for yourself first of all.
Yeah. But that I can say that. See, I think that once you delve into that black vault,
Yeah, I'll be looking at that tonight. So
you'll be up all
great,
night.
great,
That's
great.
when it started. You just can't stop. There's so
So, and
much.
that's
I mean,
that's the thing about this show is why I wanted to continue doing this. But unfortunately, I've got to get some more people that aren't afraid to talk about this stuff like you are. That's the problem I'm
and
having
that
is I can't get guests on here that want to share their stories because for fear of ridicule, for fear of people aren't going to believe me, and
you want to hear something
what's
funny.
that?
So, this just goes to show you. Okay, I was talking to a guy online because I'm single.
Right,
Okay, and we had been talking for a week, I guess, and had a lot in common, and everything was, going along pretty good. And I decided to, well, I'd ask him, nah, you kind of got to beat around the bush, but you don't want to spend too much time involved with somebody or whatever that later down the road is just going to say you're a whack
right,
job. So, they don't want to talk to you
right.
anymore. So you got to get it in there pretty soon, somewhere after at least a week or whatever, or you'll be wasting a lot of time. Trust
Yep.
me. And so last night, I actually said to him, "So you want to see me live?" He was talking about a visit or whatever. And the funny part was, he's like, "I'm not ready for a video chat. I need to be more presentable." I said, "No, no, no. You don't got to worry about that. Here, just let me show you. I'll send you this link, and you can. And since then, I think, what did he say? Oh my gosh, I cracked him up. I cracked him up.
Really?
And yeah. And I said, as for all the things that we have in common, we have that many things that's not in common. So I'm just going to, you go find you somebody that's
Yep.
more on
Well,
your end, because that's what people do. You can be certifiable sane. You could go to a psychiatrist and be certified that you're sane. But you start talking about this, and people's they're
that's why you
gonna.
need to just start talking about it right away. Weed them out. Get it out right away and go, hey, look, here, this is, I was on,
Well, I
you're like,
tried that
here, I was
too.
on
I tried
YouTube.
that.
Here's my thing. Oh, you think I'm crazy? Then time to move on.
Yeah, I tried that too. It didn't really
No?
work. So no, I think I'm too weird for people. I mean, I can't help it. It's just, it is what it is. And now that I'm as old as I am, I mean, my God, I'll be 60, and I've just decided that this stuff has been with me my entire life. I said when I retired, I was going to take the time and delve into it, tell people about it, not be afraid. And boy, now you got to worry about the government coming and saying, or the Biden administration saying that you're completely crazy.
Right?
I mean, oh my God. Here, let's censor you. You're completely crazy. None of this stuff exists. Well, yes, it does. And, it's been
Right.
released. The guy that, all the intelligence agencies, we know there's a space force. So I'm just like, what are they going to do? I'm a grandma. They going to come get
No,
me, string me
no.
up, make an example. Oh, thank
They
you.
have bigger fish to fry than you or me. So, I mean,
True.
it's not like the 20 or 30 people that are actually watching this or turning us in for anything. We're not doing anything. So, but it's good. You know, it's good to get it out, first of all. I mean, as far as sharing, because I think that lets other people go, oh, well, it's okay to share it. I mean, and this experience has not been bad for you, I hope, right? Okay, good.
No, I mean, I could go deeper even, but I'm not yet. I may save that for, I don't know, something else. I might write a book someday.
There you
I
go.
don't
Write
know.
a book. But that's what I'm hoping to get, you know, down the road. I'm hoping to get some more guests that are going to share a lot more, that we can get deeper into this.
Now, you'll probably have a better chance of getting people on your ghost story side.
Yeah,
Because a lot
people
of
love
people
ghost
love
stories,
that.
but the bad part about the ghost stories is everybody is doing ghost stories. There's so many shows doing it, but there's so many shows that are faking it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like we talked about. But listen, I told you last week that I would, since we don't have but about 15 minutes
No, we
left,
got all the time we want.
I
You
told,
tell your story.
oh, okay. Well, you know, the guy who was talking about the footsteps across the floor, and I said, oh, I got one of those for
Yes.
you too. Yes. Well, this was 1988, I guess. This was in 88 or
Seems
89,
like a lot of your stuff
maybe
happened
more.
around the 80s.
It did. It did. It really did. Um, from the from about 1973, it started. Well, that's when I became
Right,
aware
right.
of it, and that's when stuff. Uh, I picked up on stuff. I picked up on stuff that it's like every time, why me? I really don't want to do this. You know, look, I really don't. Why does this always happen to me? I mean, I've been mad several
Because
occasions. Why is this
they knew
happening?
you could handle it.
I guess. But anyways, it was the first apartment, quote, apartment. It was actually a very small house, which in today's standards would be called a tiny house, probably.
Right.
Not the little, it's not the little ones on the back of a truck, but a square, real small little house. It probably wasn't but about maybe 1,000 square feet, I guess. If that, maybe 800. But I had this routine I did every day. I was young, got married young, and my husband was at work. And I'm almost ashamed to say this, but I watched One Life to Live and all my children because it was okay. I was
I used
raised
to
on a
watch
bread.
General Hospital, so
Okay, good. I'll
no.
feel so bad. That was my two shows. And after all my children was over, I would start cleaning house because hey, my house was clean. His supper was waiting on him when he walked in the door. That's the way I was raised. That's just what you
Right.
did. Especially being raised by my grandparents, you know, I'll never forget my grandma told me, your job is to make sure that your house is clean, his supper's cooked, his clothes is clean. His job is to go out and make a living. That's the way I was
Right.
raised. And I'm almost 60 years old now, so there's a different story
Time
there.
will
But
change now.
back then, that's what I believed, you know. So I would always start when the show was over. I would start getting ready, and show was over, and I got up and I was going to go wash the dishes, get ready to start doing dinner, and I had accidentally knocked the bottle of dish detergent over into the sink and really got a lot of bubbles. I mean, I had bubbles up to my
Wow.
elbows. The sink was full of bubbles. And I'm washing dishes and knowing what time it is and knowing how long I had plenty of time, right? Well, I heard the front door open. Footsteps walk across the floor. And I immediately went like this to get the soap off of me, off my arms. And I said, I'll be there in a minute, honey. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, how long have I been taking doing
Right.
this, you know? So I got a dish towel, dried my hands, went into the living room. He wasn't in the living room. Okay. Well, the house was like made in a square, so you could kind of walk all the way around,
Right.
you know. And I thought, well, he's went to the bedroom, changed clothes, take his boots off, whatever, and he wasn't there. Okay, so he went to the bathroom. Nope, he wasn't in the bathroom. Now I'm still knowing that he's in the house. I know he's in the house because I heard him walk in the door. I heard the door open, the door close, and his boots, you know.
Wasn't none of the kids?
No, no, it was no. It was boots. You know what boots
Oh, yeah.
sound like on a
Yep.
wood floor. And so I thought to myself, well, okay, so he's not in the bedroom, he's not in the bathroom. He must have went on around as I was coming, so he's back around again and he's in the kitchen. And I'm talking to him even though he's
Right.
not there. I'm like, sorry, hon, I don't know. Time just got away from me, I guess. You know, I'm apologizing for not having supper ready. And I thought, well, did he go back outside? And I'll go outside. His car is not even in the driveway.
No.
And I'm like, okay. And I looked over my shoulder at the clock on the wall, and he wasn't even off from work yet. Okay, so I know what I heard, and I'm out of there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit on the front porch swing, and I'm going to wait for him to come home. So he comes home, and I'm telling him what's happened. And he's like, you're full of it. No way, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, kind of as a side backstory to this house, there was an older man and woman who had a son later in life, and he was a Down syndrome child. And he would play, he was, I don't know, probably in his teens, I guess. And he would come over sometimes to the house. And after this happened, I sat out on the porch more because I don't want to stay in the house. So heck with Joe Hospital or what life to live for all my children.
Right.
I didn't want to be in the house. Okay. So he comes over one day. My kid, my 21-year-old
Wow.
has a very loud mouth. Anyways, and he would come over and he would sit with me on the porch.
Cat wants some attention.
Come here. Big
Oh,
old,
yeah.
big old boy.
That's a big cat.
He is. I weigh about 14 pounds.
Wow.
And I take heart meds and prednisone every day. I'm a big old boy. He has a little cyst on the side of his face. Here's my baby. Get down now. It'll be good. But the kid came up to me one day, and he would sit beside me on the swing, and his mom would be out putting clothes on the clothesline, you know, or whatever, because it was kind of a little country house. And her husband had built this little house that we lived in, like in their side yard before he died, as a little rental house to have income.
Right.
And so we're sitting there, and out of the blue, well, I had said, I'm waiting on, you know, my husband to come home, whatever. He asked me what I was doing. And out of the blue, this kid says to me, you know, my daddy's not here anymore. I said, yeah, son, I know. He said, but that's okay, because I talk to my daddy all the time. And I thought, okay, you know, he talks to his daddy all the time. He's, you know, bless his little heart. And he looked, and I guess I looked surprised when I looked at him, and he looked back at me, and he's like, oh. I mean, literally, oh, I got to go. And he took off. And so about a week, it wasn't long, about a week later, we were sitting in the living room getting ready to go to bed. The couch kind of set out in the room to where you could walk behind it. And my husband at the time was sitting across the room in a recliner reading a newspaper. And I said, I'm tired. Are you ready to go to bed? He's like, yeah, let me finish the cigarette and we'll go to bed. So he's reading a newspaper, smoking a cigarette. And I'm looking at a magazine, just waiting on him to get done. And a man's voice was standing like over me, like behind the couch, over me. It was very
Time
loud.
to move.
And he's like, yeah. It was 2 words. And I looked across the room at my husband, and he dropped that newspaper, and he looked at me with his wide eye, and I hit him so hard, his lap so hard, I broke the recliner. And it was borrowed. On top of everything else, it wasn't even ours. And I said, now do you believe me? And he's like, yes.
I'd have been like,
yes.
pack your stuff. We're out of here.
Yes.
Time to go.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we did. It was like probably on a Thursday. By the weekend, I went to the lady and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I got to go. There's somebody else ghosting this
We got
house.
to go. Yeah, we got to go. And I told her what her son had
Right.
said to me. And she said, oh, don't pay no attention to him. You know, he's just not quite right. You know, don't pay no attention to him. And I thought, that little boy's righter than you think he is. He told me to talk to his daddy all the time. I believe it. For some reason, maybe it was because my husband smoked.
Maybe.
I don't know. But he didn't want us in that house. So we went back to my grandparents. Well, I remember talking to my grandfather about it and asking him, had he ever seen a ghost or heard anything, or, you know, and I told him the whole story of everything that happened because I'm a teenager myself. And he's like, yeah, when I was younger, I did one time. And I'm like, well, okay, what was it? He said, I seen my daddy. He said it was early one morning and it was foggy out. And I was going to, you know, feed the animals. And my dad was just standing right there, had his hand up on the a mule, getting ready to, he looked like he's getting ready to plow. And he said, I looked at him and he said he smiled at me. And then he just disappeared into the fog. He was just gone.
Wow.
So, you know, it kind of made me feel better that my grandpa had said, yeah, he's seen stuff too. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that would freak me out. I mean, because I never had that experience, but, and like I said before, I'm still weighing the options on it. But yeah, if I heard something or saw that, yeah, I'd be gone. I'm out. Not doing it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, that was my very first experience. And I had several after that would curl your hair. And, you know, in a different, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We'll have to talk about that one day when we come back with more episodes
Yes,
of the paranormal.
Definitely. Yeah, maybe we'll just,
That was
maybe we'll do one on just paranormal because people seem to like that. So, so we'll do that then. Well, I want to thank you, Star, for being on here every week that we've had this show for this. So it's been fantastic.
I almost feel like a hog. I'm like, nobody wants to see your buddy.
You've done great. I love the stories. It's opened my eyes to a lot of things that I started researching and looking. Hopefully some other people have done the same thing. So it's been fantastic. So I really, really do appreciate it. So.
Well, just guys, don't forget, you want to see all the government. I mean, Trump said they had 180 days to release them, and that was in December, which is 60 days, 6 months. But they started releasing them early already. And go to the vault. Is it the vault or the Black
Vault?
The
That's
Black
where I'm
Vault,
going.
yeah.
I'm going there after this. I'm going to go watch that, definitely.
And, I don't know if you could find anything about Ed Grimsley other than I know for a fact he was on
Yeah, I'm gonna look up
coast.com.
some old episodes of that and see what I can find out about that. So, but like I said,
Hope help
yep,
somebody somewhere.
I hope it
Open
does.
your eyes, people. It's
So
there.
I do appreciate it. So everybody, I appreciate you watching, and hopefully we can keep building this show up. Next week's show is going to be about hot rods, classic cars, muscle cars. We have some guests on here that actually have some hot rods that have done some restoration, some building, and so hopefully it'll be really good next couple of weeks for that. And then we've got some other shows that we're going to try and put out. And then we're definitely going to be coming back and doing this again because, like I said, this is one of my favorite things. So I think that's about it. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to download our podcast. We are now on Apple iTunes. Took us a while to get there, but we're on there. We're in most places you could podcast. And if you feel like, if you go to our Facebook page, our YouTube page, or any of the pages that we have this, even our podcast page at Buzzsprout, there's a Patreon little thing. If you want to donate to help keep this show going, by all means, please donate. You know, I'm doing everything I can, but my wife's like, "Are you going to keep spending money on this?" But yes, I am. So it doesn't matter. I love it.
Hey, it's not the worst hobby
Exactly.
you could have, right?
Exactly. I quit smoking. I don't drink. Hey, so
There
that's
you
my money's
go.
going to this podcast. So, but yeah, you can go to patreon.com/Ed Sullivan Experience. You know, and there's little tiers you can set up to donate $5 a month or whatever you want. If you don't, then that's fine too. I just appreciate everybody actually watching this. So, all right. So until next week, have a great time. Be safe, and thank you again, Star. We will definitely have you back.
You're welcome.
Bye
See you
bye.
later. Bye bye. All right, I got my 100%, so I'm good, right? But I wait.
Hold on a second. I think we're done on